Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Alex Dworkin and I'm a managing partner at 40 Capital. We specialize in a very unique mathematical approach to the stock market where we analyze the market and individual stocks in three-dimensional space. And when we do, essentially perfect order emerges and we can predict what any given stocks or individual or the overall stock market will do in both price and most importantly time. I personally believe our work is nearly identical to what Jim Simmons was able to accomplish at Renaissance Technologies. So we've developed a quant model that essentially allows us to find the next Bitcoin, Apple, Nvidia, and things such as of that nature. And the way we do it, I've discussed it in our prior videos, but basically we are able to identify very important bottoms in stocks, and then we're able to project what those stocks are going to go going forward. And we're picking out stocks that will increase in value 2x, 5x, 10x, and given our ability to scan the entire S&P 500, we are able to pick out those individual equities. But that's not the purpose of today's conversation. Today we are looking at yet another one of our weekly stocks, which is Broadcom. So we're gonna, these are the stocks that we do updates on twice a year. We look at our time and price parameters and we identify what the stock is doing now, what it's going to do in the future. And because this is one of the mega cap category stocks, this is something that most people invest in. And I hope that most of you will find it useful. So once again, the stock you see is Broadcom, which is AVGO, the ticker symbol. And basically the stock is following our overall forecast that we had for over a year now, and we had a major bottom here, right with the cycle composite that we have. And by the way, let me just very quickly mention it here. So we have the triangles you see on top and bottom of the chart. Very simple representation of very complex mathematical formulas. So what you see here is very similar to her cycles, but the bottom composites are responsible for the bottoms in stocks or the overall market, and the top composites are responsible for tops. As you can see from the chart, you can clearly see that on this particular chart. What makes matter a little bit more complicated are typically multiple composites running in the stock market or individual stocks on the bottom and the top. So, for example, the Dow Jones has two upper composites, two lower composites running. But if you put them together, so these are longer term cycles, we can narrow it down by breaking down those cycles even further. But when you put it together, they can very closely represent the actual two-dimensional market action that you see on this time and price chart. The secondary timing variable that we have is what we call timing clusters. And timing clusters are basically our proprietary cycles. We're able to scan the market back and then identify those cycles and project them into the future. And what we found over the years is that these cycles, when there are multiples of them arrive, that's when we have a turning point, typically. So when a singular cycle arrives, doesn't matter if it's a powerful cycle, you might get a short-term turning point. But when there are multiple cycles arriving, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at any given time, particularly if those cycles are strong, we can very clearly identify an upcoming turning point. So basically, these cycle composites get us very close to a turning point in time. As you can see here, typically they have, depending on the length of the cycle, they have between 1 and 2 month margin of error associated with them. But the cycle clusters give us the exact date of the coming turning point. So as you can see here, we had a, let me just remove it here, we had a very, and for some reason it's not working because okay, here we go. So this is a perfect illustration of actually a couple of interesting things or factors when it comes to this analysis. First, you can see that we very clearly hit a top here with a composite, and then we hit a bottom composite here. So there was a very powerful move to the downside. This is yet another example of fast movers that we very often talk about. And the fast mover typically happens when there's a major top occurring in the stock, and major bottom. And this major bottom in this particular case occurs within a relatively short period of time. I believe this was 12 months or less. I think it was 8 months or something like that. So this is a perfect illustration of a stock moving from a major top to a major bottom. Now the opposite happens when these bottoms occur, and that's why earlier in the video, in the beginning, I said this is what we look for when we are trying to identify those opportunities that will increase 5x, 10x, and so forth. We're looking for a major cycle bottom and then a subsequent increase into first this top and then subsequently this top. So in this regard, Broadcom is a perfect illustration of that. So it hit the bottom exactly when and where it was supposed to hit the bottom, and now it's increasing into the next set of targets. So the next set of targets is located here. This is according to our three-dimensional calculations. So as you can see, $334 a share that will occur around this time frame of January of 2026. Once again, we're not particularly interested in the stock because most of the move down and up has already occurred. So we're just going to increase from this point on into this 336 by, according to the computer, January of 2026. But there's going to be a certain amount of variance associated with it. And we're not particularly interested in this variance because any gains of interest are already gone, and the stock's going to not necessarily flatline, it's going to correct, and then it's going to increase into this top going forward. So let me show you another three-dimensional representation of the same thing. So basically the stock, these are our calculations that we were able to identify, the tops and bottoms, and then we calculate the market in three-dimensional space, and we project exactly where it's going to top. And in this particular case, this is the region we're looking at. Once again, the same thing, 338 to 350, which is in line with the point that I before mentioned, point of 335 approximately. So this is approximately where the stock is going to top at that mid-cycle level. Then it's going to have a 10 to 20% correction. And then let me pull up the chart here so you can see a little bit better. And then it's going to increase into this particular top that is scheduled for, I believe, 2029. Let me click on this, 2027. And that's going to be the major top for Broadcom. So for our own purposes, this particular stock at this juncture is not of any interest. It was of significant interest right here and was of significant interest right here, but now is essentially time to take profit because it's going to be range bound. Well, once it achieves its stop, it's going to be range bound to downside and then kind of going to bounce around for a little bit. So it's going to be more or less dead money and not of interest to our particular approach. So that's the summary for Broadcom. At the description of this video, we're going to have a couple of links. First, we have a free trial associated with our service. It's quite expensive, but we have a 30-day free trial, and no strings, no credit cards. You can get it. You can look at everything that we have available on our website, which is 52 mega cap stocks, currencies, commodities, etc. We follow all the big things and we identify exactly what they're going to do going forward. So that's very helpful for any investors. On top of that, we have individual stock picks. We have the overall market. We have fast movers, super equities, so on and so forth. So it's a lot of incredible information. Nobody else has anything remotely similar to this. So if you are a serious investor, I definitely encourage you to request a free trial, and you're going to be able to do that at the link below. We also have a webinar coming up on Friday where we discuss our software. We showcase our software, showcase our mathematical work, how exactly we calculate and do all the things that we do. And on top of that, we discuss the overall market and what it's going to do going forward. We typically don't do that in any forum, but in this particular webinar, we will be doing that. And finally, we have a link to a better description of our mathematical work, our calculations, sample calculations, proof, and etc. So you can take a look and prove to yourself that what we talk about here is indeed true. That's it for today. Thank you very much for your time. We'll be back with another video tomorrow, perhaps with one of the fast movers that we have, perhaps something else. I haven't decided yet, but nevertheless, thank you for your time, and we'll be back with another update tomorrow. Bye-bye.